How can I not be happy all day? I'm from the streets of Africa. If it was speakers in my mind, I bet it would sound like whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, guys. So, guys, I met a nice person. She's an African American of a Kenyan descent. So, she's gonna share her experiences being in Ghana with you guys. I'm sure you guys, are gonna resonate with this her story. And it's gonna help you in case you wanna visit Ghana, wanna try Africa for the first time. Our story is going to help you. So you know what to do. Stay tuned. We'll try the video, guys. If you like the video, like it, share it with your family and friends. What's your name?
Aggie.
Aggie. Oh, Aggie. Aggie, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice. Is this your first time ever coming down to Africa?
Yes, it is.
This is your first time. Wow. So guys, this is our first time ever stepping down in the continent, and there are a lot of African Americans out there who have not been to Africa, and all they hear is Africa is negative, Africa people are hungry, people are living on trees. And I just want her to share her story so far, like being in Africa. What do you want to tell the people out there, African Americans who have not been to Africa? What do you want to tell them? Yeah.
I would say.
Take your time. You have all the time if you want to say this.
And
Okay.
sunscreen, just in case.
Okay.
Africa's a really sunny place,
Okay.
but it's not like what you've probably seen in TV, because a lot of the media likes to portray Africa, or at least a lot of American media likes to portray Africa as this barren wasteland, except for maybe a couple renovated areas. And so don't come to Africa expecting to see just no roads and trees and jungle and lions and animals running around. A lot of Africa is really developed. There's buildings everywhere. If you look around, there's so much architecture, and there's cars, there's roads, there's malls, there's restaurants. It's not lions and everything running around and people with no clothes on. Africa is actually a really beautiful place with a lot of structure, and don't allow mass media to fool you into believing Africa is just trash. Yeah.
Wow.
I was just gonna say recently with our current president in America too, the way he described Africa as having just a bunch of shithole countries. That's another thing that has been a representation of how people's perspectives of Africa are skewed. But don't allow people like that or things you see on TV to fool you into believing Africa is a shithole place.
Guys, this can be better said, So what I'll put out there is, in case you have the chance, just come visit first, maybe for 2 weeks, 1 week in Africa. That's gonna change your perspective about Africa, And let me ask you, do you feel Africa is a comfortable place that African Americans can come and live, based on the experience so far?
I think Africa is a very comfortable place, especially for African Americans, because one thing I've noticed, I felt really comfortable here being not a minority.
Wow.
Because in the States, especially where I go to school, it's a predominantly white institution.
I see.
And so when I look around, there's not too many people or not too many students that look like me or have my skin tone. But since coming to Africa, I felt more comfortable walking around and looking around me and seeing people who look like me.
Wow.
And then for the most part, most people actually think I'm Ghanaian until they hear my American accent. And so a lot of people are really comfortable around me, or a lot of Ghanaians are really welcoming. And also, since it's the year of return, they kind of want African Americans to come to Ghana anyway. And so they're really welcoming to us. And it's a great place. If you ever want to go to Africa, you should come to Ghana.
Come to Ghana. Do you think, okay, you've been an African American, right? When you came down to Ghana, and then you realized that actually in America, people refer to me as a minority. I represent, I'm from a minority group. But when you're coming down to Africa, realizing that okay, Africans actually are over 1 billion people in the world. What's the feeling like?
It's kind of empowering, because when you're in the States and you're a minority, if you take a class and you're the only black student in the entire class, you kind of feel like you're isolated. And like
see.
there's like a little feeling of like you're not welcome here because there's so few people like you.
I see.
But when you come to Africa as an African American and you see so many people like living their lives comfortably, um, I don't know, at least for me, I've gotten the feeling like, okay, wow, there's a lot of people who are like me. I'm not a minority. Like,
Yeah.
there's over 1 billion people
Yeah,
like me,
yeah,
like you said.
yeah.
And it's like comforting.
Yes, yeah. I want to like the interesting thing too is that Africa we have actually the youngest population in the world. So you can imagine the transformation that can happen in the continent if this energy is put into good use. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the other question is, I'm sure a lot of African Americans would like to get this clear. So do you feel Africa you can get proper education in Africa and like really live your dream, like bring out your creativity? Just living it up here. Do you think that's kind of possibility for African Americans?
hmm Education wise, I
Yeah.
think Africa offers like a wide variety of really good institutions for people to come to. Like, for example, like the University of Ghana that I'm attending right now is a really great school. A lot of my professors are like really talented at what they do and really knowledgeable in the subjects. Some of my classes are actually harder than my American classes.
Wow.
The structure of the education system is a little different.
I see.
The way teachers teach is a little different.
Different, yeah.
But for the most part, it's a really quality education.
Education.
Like I've learned a lot since coming out here, and my professors really want to make sure that we know the content, and they're really dedicated to what they do too.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. Wow, guys. So how about this thing? Do you feel very respected in Africa? You've been an African American. Like, do you feel that high self-esteem?
Yeah, I'd say for the most part, like everybody's been so welcoming, and like even though I'm an African American, and it's very obvious when you hear me speak, I don't ever feel like I'm being looked down upon for it.
I see.
I feel like most people kind of want to show me more of Ghana when they find out that I'm American, or
Oh, I
like
see.
yeah,
I
like
see.
really exemplify why Ghana is a great place when they find out I'm American. It's not
Yeah.
like, ooh, she's American,
Yeah.
get her out.
Yeah.
You don't like her?
I see. I see. Wow, interesting. How do you find the Ghanaian food generally?
Since I'm from Kenyan descent, there's a lot of Kenyan foods that are really similar that I've eaten before.
I see.
And so it's not too much of a distinct change.
Oh.
At least for me. I imagine if like I wasn't Kenyan, and if I hadn't been introduced to things like in Kenya, there's a food called ugali that's very similar to like banku.
Oh.
And we also have like a lot of soups and stews that are very similar to the Ghanaian ones.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm very comfortable with what I've been eating. I was introduced to jollof rice out here though. We didn't have that in Kenya. And it's very spicy,
Okay.
but I've been eating it every day.
I see.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ghanaian food is great.
And interesting about Kenyan is that Kenyans they don't really like spicy food. But it's interesting that they've been a Kenyan who really likes spicy food. Wait, tell them, have you been to Kenya before?
Not yet.
I
Actually,
see.
it's kind of strange that I came to Ghana before I went to Kenya,
Yeah.
but I haven't been to Kenya yet, no.
But do you have any plans going to Kenya?
Yeah, I'm going in November.
Oh, I see. But have you tried Kenyan chapati in Ghana here? I've not seen it.
I haven't seen chapatis in Ghana actually. I've had like naan, like Indian naan, but I haven't seen chapatis out here. I might make some.
I see. So how about safety? How well do you feel safe in Ghana?
I think I feel really safe. For example, like my dorm has maybe 5 guards that work in the front area.
Wow, 5.
And yeah, I feel really safe. We have guards walking around usually. There's police officers everywhere. And I'm not scared of these police officers like I'm scared of police officers in America.
Wow, really?
Because cops in America do a lot to minorities. But since I'm not a minority here, I feel more comfortable with them. But yeah, my building's like well secured.
How about when you're out in town? How do you feel very safe?
I feel safe for the most part, except for like when I'm walking through a market and people are like grabbing you and they're like, come here, like buy my things. Then I'm like,
Yeah, I got you.
But for the most part, like everywhere I've been to, I've always felt like comfortable.
Whatever. and almost getting to the end. Do you feel like you're getting comfortable, and like let's say you can settle back in Ghana or in Africa, let's say Ghana, precisely in Ghana, and let's say establish a relationship with someone, let's say to marry or something.
Like friendships?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I've made a lot of good friends out here.
Okay. Okay.
I've established a lot of good friendships.
So do you feel a sense of belonging in Ghana here?
I would say so.
Okay.
Because Ghana is so welcoming and like
Yeah.
everyone that I meet really tries to introduce me to all the
Yeah.
facets of Ghanaian culture. And so
Yeah.
like I've had a really good time out here. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm sure Ghanaian men have been trying to approach you and all that because you have the American accent and all that. Try to get to know you more, maybe. I don't know. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
Alright, so then, how do you find the Ghanaian men?
Ghanaian men
Okay.
are very confident. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Talk
they're
to my
very
Ghanaian
confident.
guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think like a cultural thing I've noticed out here is that the men, I don't know, like they're very confident in themselves,
Okay.
and they really try and show it when they're approaching a girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now, comparing Ghanaian men, let's say, to the American men, what's the difference?
I think in America, like men can get kind of defensive when you're not interested in them,
Okay.
but here men work harder when you're not interested in them. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like in the US, if you meet a guy and like he's flirting with you and you're like, I'm not interested, then they're like, okay,
Yeah, go ahead and walk out.
whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't like you anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. But here in Ghana, if you're like, I'm not interested, a lot of the men are like, really? Okay, I'll change your mind.
They have energy, eh?
Yeah, Ghanaian men have a lot of energy.
Nice, nice. Wow. Nice. Interesting. On a scale of 10, how will you rate your Ghana experience so far?
I would say because Ghana is so beautiful and everyone's been so welcoming and like really nice, I would rate it a good 9. It would be a 10, but I'm really missing tacos
Oh, I see.
and Mexican food and like a couple other restaurants from back home,
I see.
and I haven't been able to find any similar ones
Exactly.
out here,
Yeah.
and so it would be a 10, but
Yeah.
just because of that.
Yeah. Leave it at 9.
But Ghana's beautiful.
Ghana's it. So, what about Ghana you like the most?
I would say probably the people.
Really? It's like almost everybody almost said it's the people. The people are really friendly. The people are outgoing. What about Ghana you like the least?
I would say when it starts raining, even though it's sunny outside. That's just so confusing to me because I'll walk outside and I'll see the sun and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's gonna be a nice day,
Yeah.
and then it just starts pouring down. Yeah, I'd say that.
That's that. Wow, guys. Like this one of my best interviews, she really was honest with us, you know what I mean? She brought out her best experiences to share with you guys. I'm sure this story is gonna challenge some of you, to take that leap of faith, to come to Africa and just explore. Come on to connect with your roots, this year of return. I don't wanna keep her for long. I'm sure she has other things to do. Yeah, so what do you wanna tell my subscribers?
Follow me on Instagram.
Guys, go follow on IG. Okay. Wait, what's your IG handle?
It's at SWAGGY _AGGY.
Wow. Alright, guys, what again do you want to tell the subscribers?
Thanks for watching.
Okay.
Subscribe to my friend.
What's your friend's name?
My friend?
Yeah.
Karina. Oh, you're
What's your friend?
we're gonna have to cut that part out. Okay, so subscribe to Queso.
Alright guys, thank you so much, man. It was nice having you on my channel. It's really cool. Go follow on IG in case you have any questions you wanna ask. I'm supposed to be willing to, Are you on IG model?
I can be.
So guys, go support our career. You know what I mean? Yeah.